이거 어떻게 기획을 하시게 된 건가요?
An issue that I actually didn't know anything about until the producer of the film, Joe Ruxton, who is a good friend and a marine biologist, came to me and asked me if I knew about single-use plastics and the effects that they were having on the marine environment. And I had no idea what she was talking about. And I'm an oceans guy. I make documentaries on the oceans. So I was quite shocked that I didn't know anything about this issue. And so what we did was she went off to do some more research in the North Pacific Gyre, one of the big ocean currents where we find a lot of these plastics. And I went out to find out for myself what the problem was. So as I went surfing, I found plastic bags in the water between my feet. I found tiny pieces of plastic on the beach, trapped in seaweed. And when I was diving, I found fishing rope and nets entangled around rocks. And I couldn't work out why I hadn't really seen these things before when, you know, they'd always been there. And I realized that single-use plastic products had become so useful to me in such a part of my life that they'd become invisible. Oh, look.
At 2 o'clock, and another blow 4, and it looks like he's got...
This is one of the main areas where we're hunting for the blue whales to film, so this is right in their environment.
They feed by opening their mouth and just sucking up whatever's in their path. These really heavy.
Plastic doesn't degrade. It actually breaks up, and when it's proliferated, there's more opportunities for plastics to be ingested.
A lot of plastic.
Some people, they get cancer, and then some people, they don't pregnant.
If I had not seen this problem, and I'm an oceans guy, then how could anybody who lived in Korea or Mexico or in Central America understand what this problem was if they didn't have an association with the ocean? So as more research came in and we did more research on the issue and we found out that it was a very big problem.
저는 그 영화를 보는 내내 진짜 정말 볼 때마다 충격이었거든요, 감독님. 기사로는 많이 접했어요. 우리가 버린 쓰레기로 인해서 뭐 새들이 죽는다. 혹은 뭐 돌고래가 먹고 정말 뱃속에 플라스틱이 가득하다. 기사로는 접했는데 영상으로 보니까
보셨죠? 거기 200 몇 개의 플라스틱이 나온 거야. 그러니까 와.
Oh, wow, look at the size of that big black piece.
That is an enormous piece of plastic.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely no doubt this bird died as a result of that plastic.
This is a Bryde's whale. It's dying, taking its final breaths. It was found to have 6 square meters of plastic sheeting inside it. It couldn't eat and it died of malnourishment. Its digestive system was blocked and it died a terrible, painful death.
난 더 좀 마음이 아팠던 게 거북이 있잖아요. 거북이. 그 이탈리아에서 그 거북이가 플라스틱을 먹으니까 이게 부력이 안 생겨서 수영을 못 하는 거예요. 그래서 콕콕 하는 거예요.
저는 사실은 마지막 장면이 제일 인상적이었어요. 마지막에 사과를 하시거든요. 그러니까 We are very sorry on behalf of humanity. 근데 막 그 뭐랄까 마음이 확 무거워지는 거예요. 다양한 곳에서 찍으셨단 말이에요. 뭐 바다 위도 있고 바다 속으로도 들어가고 뭐 쓰레기 더미 안에서도 막 이제 찍고 그러셨는데 찍으면서 정말 인상적이었던 에피소드가 있으셨을 것 같아요.
Yeah, I think for me personally was the deep shock. The further we went into the filming, and as you mentioned, we went to 21 countries around the world. It took 8 years to film. And that was because as the more we found out about this problem, the bigger it became, the more questions we had. So the film started out as a marine oceans film, but it ended up being a human health film. When I started looking into the very few studies that were around in terms of the effects on human health, I realized that the chemicals in these plastics had the potential to do enormous harm, and in some cases were doing enormous harm, but we didn't know very much about it. And I think some of the most shocking facts within the film are related to the human health consequences of this addiction.
감독님 아실지 모르겠지만 한국의 그 플라스틱 오션 영화 팬들이 정말 많습니다.
That's good to hear.
저를 포함해서.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that because the whole idea behind the film was to create awareness. Because many people like myself were just simply unaware that single-use plastics were creating this problem. Specifically through, I think, mainly through children. Because what I found with the film was that kids were watching the film, and when we completed the film, I traveled the world and I talked to governments and corporations all around the world about the problem and advised them on solutions. But I also went to schools and I talked to kids everywhere. And I was amazed at how much children actually knew about the problem more than adults.
근데 그게 되게 중요하다 저는 생각이 드는 게 우리가 사실 모르거든요. 그러니까 모르니까 지금까지 이렇게 그렇죠. 살아왔던 거고 지금 아이들 얘기를 하시는데 너무 웃겼던 게 우리 둘째가 요새는 이제 학교에서 그런 교육을 받나 봐요. 초등학교에서 환경교육이라든지 이런 걸 받는데 어느 날 와서 저한테 엄마 인간이 제일 나빠. 왜 했더니 인간은 주변을 다 파괴하고 다녀. 주변은 우리를 도와주는데 그래서 끊임없이 그 얘기를 하더라고요.
Yeah.
그러니까는 이제 뭐 처음에 그냥 뭐 그런가 보다 그런 걸 배우나 보다 했는데 아이가 그렇게 얘기를 하니까 눈치를 보게 돼요 제가. 그래서 뭘 사용하거나 그럴 때도 항상 좀 신경을 쓰게 되는 그런 게 있긴 하더라고요.
I don't have children myself, but I've many friends who do have children. And I get on with kids. I love being around kids. And I just thought, you know, I can't leave this world. And I want that legacy to be something that does something for the next generation. And ultimately, that's what empowers me today in my filmmaking. I always think about what is the legacy I'm going to leave. Every time it rains here, every time the wind blows offshore, the sludge, the plastic from all of that rubbish ends up straight.